In example 2, we want to rewrite the equation of the circle in standard form and then graph the circle. So the first thing we have to do is we have to get this in standard form. In standard form, if we scroll back up to the top, should look like this. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to r squared, which means we need to complete the square for the x and for the y. It's going to be very similar as what we did with parabolas, but there's going to be a couple slight things that are different as we go through this. If we take a look, we've got x squared plus y squared minus 8x minus 4y equal to negative 4. The first thing that we want to do is we want to group together our x's and we want to group together our y's. So we'll get x squared minus 8x, group those two together, plus, and then we'll group together our y's, y squared minus 4y. And this is equal to negative 4. And then what we want to do is we want to complete the square with our x's and we want to complete the squares with our y's. Unlike our parabola, we don't need to do everything on the same side, but whatever we add to this side, we're now going to add the exact same thing to the opposite side to balance out our equation. So we're going to go ahead and we have, let's give this a little bit more room. We have x squared minus 8x, and we're going to leave room to add something to complete our square, plus y squared minus 4y, plus, and again we're going to leave room to add something in there to complete our square, equal to negative 4, and then we need to leave room for the two numbers we need to add in. To figure out what that number is the same way we did it with the parabola. We're going to take that middle number, that 8 divided by 2, and square it. And that will give us the number that goes in here. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 squared is going to give me 16. So I'm going to put 16 inside here. And then just like before with the parabolas, if there's anything on the outside, I have to account for that. But since there isn't, I added 16 to this side. To balance my equation, I would add the same thing over here to the other side. Then for my y's, I need to figure out what I need to add in here to complete the square. So I'm going to take my middle value, my b value, and I'm going to also divide it by 2 and square it. And that will give me the number I want to put in here. Because these are negative, you could put the negative in here if you wanted to. Regardless, because we're squaring it, whether it's a negative or a positive to start with, will always come out to be a positive number. But 4 divided by 2 is going to give me 2. Squaring that will give me 4. So I need to add 4 on the inside. And to keep my equation balanced, if I add 4 on the left, I must also add 4 on the right side of that equation. And then I can go through and I can complete my square. So I have x, and then I'm taking the square root of this number to get my third number, and I'm using the sign that's first. So I have x minus 4 squared plus y, and then again I'm taking the very first sign, which is a minus, and then I'm taking the square root of this number here. Square root of 4 is 2. So I get y minus 2 squared equal to 16 if I add up everything over here on the right. Another way that you can find this number inside here, instead of thinking about taking the first sign and taking the square root of this number, you can also think about just taking this middle number and dividing it by 2. So negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 gives me negative 2. Now that I have this in standard form, in order to graph it, I need the center and I need the radius. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center. My center is h comma k. And my h is going to come from the x part, so my h is 4. And my k is going to come from the y's, so my k is 2. So I have a center of 4, 2. And my radius is going to come from taking the square root of that right-hand side. So I take the square root of 16, which is 4. And then I can go ahead and graph it. I'm going to start by graphing my center at 4, 2. And then I'm going to use my radius. Since my radius is 4, I'm going to go 4 up. I'm going to go 4 down, 4 to the right, and 4 to the left. And then I can connect this into my circle. If you have any questions, please let me know.